I'd like to call this meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, September 11, 2024. The approximate time is 5:48 p.m. We're meeting at the Parks and Recreation Office for the City of Laredo Parks and Recreation Office on 2201 Piedra China. I'll go ahead and ask we can please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a brief moment of silence to honor the 9/11, to remember the victims of 9/11. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let's proceed with the roll call. Mr. Francis Pancho Evero Jr., not present. Mr. Luis A. Ramirez, not present. There's no representative for District 2. Victor Vasquez III, myself, present. Mr. Rafael Martinez.
Present.
Mr. Joe Barron.
Present.
Mr. Ruben Bazan.
Present.
Mr. Salvador Hernandez.
Present.
And Mr. Francisco Javier Diaz is not present at the time of vote. We have a quorum. Moving on to approval of the minutes
I make a
for the
motion.
meeting of June 12, 2024.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second by motion by Mr. Martinez, second by Mr. Hassan. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, none, motion carries. I'd like to move over to public comments. Public comments, citizens must identify themselves to the committee chair and advise the committee chair of the intent to speak and to be recognized during the public comments. Prior to the start of the meeting, the comments should be delivered in a professional manner. No derogatory remarks will be permitted. I'd like to report to the committee that Mr. Enrique Longoria has identified himself to be here under public comments. He will be speaking on the agenda item that's listed for today on bullet point number 6 and regarding the North Central Disc Golf Course. So I'd like to hear from Mr. Enrique Longoria.
Would you like to make a motion, Mr. Chair, to bring up the item, or do you want to wait for him to speak first and then
Nope.
we'll bring up the item?
No, we'll go ahead and do that. We'll make a motion,
okay.
I'd like to make a motion to bring up item number 1 of North Central Disc Golf Course proposed improvements.
I second.
Motion and a second.
All those in
Probably-
favor?
yeah.
All those in favor?
All those in favor, sorry, all those in favor, sorry. all those in
Aye.
favor. Motion carries, we're bringing up the item.
Does everybody have one of these? This was,
Yes, so in your packet, it's been, it should
Should be
be
there.
The yellow.
behind the yellow.
Oh, you got it.
So, just a brief history on this. Both Mr. Bazan and I have had a conversation in regards to this. We were approached by the disc golf course, the disc golf players community. They don't have a official name.
Not yet.
So the disc golf players approached us with just some recommendations and some proposed improvements for the only disc golf course that exists in Laredo, which is located in North Central Park. Of course, I found it very important to me to get with Ruben Bazan, since he is the representative of Dr. King, who oversees North Central Park. Most of his district is there. So that way we're able to have a discussion on this. The proposed improvements are very they're very general. For example, in my eyes, they're asking for basic things that could be that are feasible. And in conversations with Dr. King and possibly another council member that would be able to sponsor some of these amenities through their discretionary funds, if it's something that parks would not have on hand. that discretionary funds could be allocated for this if we do move forward with it. With that, I'd like to welcome Mr. Enrique Longoria, who's here, speaking on behalf of the disc golf course community.
Thank you, Chair Vasquez. Thank you.
No, thank you
Nah.
for being here.
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my little spiel today. My name is Enrique Longoria. I am an avid disc golfer, and on behalf of myself and the disc golf community, we'd like to give you a big thank you for the one course that we do have and the great upkeep that you guys oversee. We love our course, we take care of it, we clean it up, we trim it as much as we can when we have the opportunity, and we are. Let me let you guys know, the guys are elated that you guys are even considering these proposed upgrades. These proposed upgrades were comprised by all the members in our community, and we didn't want to go too crazy and scare anybody. We asked for the simplest of things that we could think of that are actually, that would actually improve the disc golf community, not just our disc golf community, but the park community. Like for extra trash cans would really help, with the maintenance of the park. Benches for, because people walk there all day. So those are just the little things that we thought that would make a big impact on our course. Some of the other things, I don't know if you want me to go down the line of the things.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that okay?
That's fine.
So first one, general landscaping and upkeep. Let me tell you guys, we are very pleased with it. It's just our way of saying, if you can keep it up. We love it. Sometimes we play and the brush is a little high and we lose our discs. But when y'all cut it, we find them. So either that or the landscaping company's making a killing reselling them. I don't know what it is, but
And
yes.
you're part of a team that plays on Sunday mornings, and then there's another one that goes avidly.
For those
Saturday
of you who
mornings.
do not know what disc golf is, because I just started playing about a year ago, I would walk by the baskets and I had no idea what they were. But my friend took me out to play, and either you love it or you hate it. And I loved it, and I got hooked. And I didn't know there was such a community in Laredo. We all know each other basically. We have group chats, we have Facebook groups. There's a lot of us, and we're very, very passionate for the sport. Our hashtag and nationwide is grow the sport, because our job is to make sure that the sport gets big enough where everybody can enjoy it. It's free. It's basically golf, but you're throwing discs around. And it's free to play in your park, thank you, because there are private parks across the state that charge money to play per round. But since it's a city park, we get to play for free, which is a lot of fun. There are golfers that go out avidly every Saturday morning. We go out every Sunday morning, and there's people that play throughout the week. And what's cool is that, it's not like ball golf where you have to reserve a tee time and pay the park fees and buy a $150 golf course. You can buy a $10 frisbee and start playing. And I just took my nephew out last Saturday. He's 16 and he's autistic, so he's not very physical or, athletically inclined. So when I took him to play, he got hooked, and he's like, "Can I come with you every weekend?" So that, and I threw it on our group, right? So everybody was riled up. Like, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. So ideally, the ultimate goal would be to get a second course. But that's further down the line. But we do love.
That was not your words.
That's not here yet, right? but we do love, and we're very passionate about the course we have. I know you guys may not be familiar with it, but there's an app that all disc golfers have. It's called UDisc. And UDisc is the it app for anything disc golf. And every course across the nation and countries, because it's worldwide now, is rated. And I took the liberty to go through the UDisc and check out our course, and we get a lot of good ratings from people from out of town that come and play. There's people that make it their mission to travel the country and play in different courses, and we get a lot of good reviews. They all say that it's a great mixture of shots, nature. You're gonna lose a disc because we do have a lot of monte, right? And I can attest with all my scars because there's a lot of cat's claw, there's a lot of cacti, but we love it. That's what makes it South Texas. I mean, you go further up north, the courses are a little bit more open. There's more trees and there's less brush, but we love having that here in Laredo because it's, hey, y'all want to come to South Texas, you got to play by South Texas standards, right? So you're gonna get cut up.
And one that stood out the most in particularly is how we can get the community involved, coach and committee members, is that a number 3, a little library style disc box for the public on hole number 1. I believe there's already a library there in place, right, with books in Central Park.
So
if I'm not mistaken.
This is
Yeah, there's one.
But they would-
We can get another one.
Yeah, but they would want to utilize it to have people to introduce them to the sport and store disc.
So we
disc
Yeah,
in-
we saw that on a Facebook group up north. And basically what it is, just like books, and you can borrow a disc and play around with it, and then when you're done, the hopes is that you put it back in. But when I mentioned that to the guys, they said, I will donate 20, 30 myself. So that box is always gonna be full. I can tell you myself, I'll put in 15, 20 right off the bat. Because we want to expand the sport. We want more people to play. It's such a great sport. It costs no money. It's anyone can play. There's players that I play with. They're in their 60s and they're still throwing out there. And as a young 60s. I'm almost there. 60 years young. 60 years young.
I got one more week to say I'm not in my 60s.
Yeah, so
He has
no,
the votes.
but as young as my daughter, she's 8 and she's throwing around too now. So it's a sport that encompasses all ages. It's such a great sport. I would really, if you guys ever want to go out there, we'd be happy to take you just so you can play around with us. And it's a lot of fun. Then we go have breakfast after and go hit Danny's up and drink a beer or two and then go home. But,
I'll circulate this photo how Mr. Longoria had shared. This is an actual old newspaper stand. Obviously,
Refurbished.
it's refurbished and now to store disc golfs, the disc for the disc golfs, and it could be something like that, similar that we'd
the
be able
ideal
to
place
put
for it
there.
would be on T1, where the first hole starts. That way people could walk up to it, read the little spiel that we're gonna write on it. Hey, this is how you play, this is how you should start, and they can start on hole 1. And then hopefully they can, there's 18 holes. It takes about 3.5 hours for a group of 4. So-
If I can just show,
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen up here, this one you can probably, this is hole number 2, is that correct, sir? Right here
I
on the
don't know what
cursor?
I'm looking at right now.
This, right here.
Hole number 2 is by where the playground's at right now, with the gym, the outside gym that y'all have
Right,
out
so
there.
right here is the tee box.
Okay,
This
is
is the
that
tee
1 or
box,
2?
is that correct?
Is that 2?
Is that 2 or 1?
I think you have to zoom out, sir, because it doesn't look like that anymore. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
So
this-
that's hole 2. Yes, sir.
Yeah, the tee box for
That's
1
the
is
tee
over
box.
here.
T-box for 1 is up there by
And
the
there's a
public.
basket right around here, which
Yes,
is
sir.
hard to find. I mean, it's hard, I'm trying to get it street, but it doesn't let me know.
Yes,
So
it's
you
right
know,
right
you
here
have
in
an
the money
idea,
box, sir.
this is tee box number 2.
Yes, sir.
All right, the object of them is to throw. This is the fairway. Is what it's called, fairway. This is the fairway, and then right in here, somewhere in here, is the basket to put the frisbee in.
No, well, technically, if I don't know if you can see, but T-box is over there. You have to throw the frisbee into that basket right there, and then from there, that's another tee.
Oh
and
yes,
you throw it
you're
over
right.
here.
You're right.
And then it goes all around the park.
Right.
So people walk the whole park and they play 3.5 hours
is
and
number
they don't
3.
even know that they walked the whole park. And
This
they
is
go.
number 3.
Yeah,
Coach, was
it's
that-
roughly about 4 miles.
Was that integrated since
This was before
NTP?
my time. And maybe Anita, do you have an idea when was?
That
Does
was
that be-
integrated, if I'm not mistaken, in Martes,
No, this was before that.
Martes or Jeans?
It might have been Charlie's.
The course, from my understanding, was with Councilman Charlie San Miguel.
San Miguel, right.
Designed along with Mr. Steve Paulson.
Mhm.
So they were the ones that kind of co-designed it together and
Okay.
they brought it in. Mhm.
Yeah, and then it kind of, just a real quick, it goes all the way around this way.
Yes,
This is the
sir.
south park of it.
It goes around the basin, which is that's number,
This
oh
way.
God, the bridge.
Yeah, it goes into the woods. You can barely see it because it's like you can picture a sendero.
Number
It comes around this way. Comes into this trail right here, right here.
Yes, sir.
Goes this way. Here's a little pond right there. Comes back around the dog park,
Yes, sir.
and then you got another hole right in here. And then the rest of the course goes all the way around the basin.
Yes, sir.
All the way around the
And
basin.
if you guys check out number 2, that's why you guys we had one and we were ecstatic about it. There was wooden bridges on that basin to that goes over that little creek,
Uh-huh.
or whatever you might call it, the little water runway or whatever. And we loved it because we're all horrible, so we throw it in there, so we gotta go get wet. Our feet are soaking. So when that bridge was there, we were ecstatic. I know, right? We'll save some money, right? But that's what we were asking for number 2. Maybe if you could put the bridges back. I don't know why they removed them. They were real nice.
There's construction.
The water took it.
The water took
Yeah,
the bridge.
we built those for the kite festival and the concerts.
Oh, wow.
Oh, for the little
Those are
crossovers.
those little wooden bridges that,
Yeah.
They had little crossover bridges.
that our
They were
staff
beautiful.
built, and then, pues, we found it and,
Se lo llevó la- Wow, that's.
so we had to build
That's
another one,
insane.
and why they're doing it, because they take it away because the
Yeah.
water takes it.
We didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's a way to build one
And
where
you
it
can't do
doesn't.
one with like wrought iron or like something.
Because this was real nice light.
Like, I'm
Maybe
just saying,
I'm
like-
assuming maybe
like
that's why it
something
took
that
me.
won't.
Yeah,
go
we
with-
could talk, we just have to make sure that it's not affected environmentally, doesn't hinder the water to go from
Yeah.
being able to hinder the water from getting into the creek, into the manadas,
Mhm.
you know, so, but we could look into it to see what, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, I'm just
No,
making
no,
sure
no,
everybody,
no. I was
kinda
just,
give them
I
an
was
outlet.
excited because you brought up the basin and my feet get wet every weekend. but it's a lot of fun, guys. That's why we didn't put anything too crazy. The rest is really Holy 11. Holy 11. If you guys ever walk it, Holy 11 is the most difficult hole in South Texas because the fairway is about the size of this room. So you throw the disc and you hope that it stays within the confines of the fairway. If not, it's going to go into the monte and you'll never see it again.
Yeah.
So we were just asking on Hole 11 if you could open it up a bit, but I understand there's environmental issues.
Yeah,
so that's
and I
not a
think,
go, I
yes,
guess.
sir, and I'm glad you brought that up, and I
Mhm.
told this to Mr. Chair, is, you know, we can't knock trees down, right? We're not-
Exactly.
right.
That's what
So we try to trim the overhangs as much as we can. We have a crew there. We have a crew that works there, 4 guys that cover the whole park. So hopefully in October we're gonna get another crew. We're supposed to get, I think, 12 or 15 more groundskeepers. Anita, if I'm not mistaken, 12. 12
Yes.
with the crew leaders.
With the crew
So
leaders.
my vision is this park is so big that I'm gonna have a crew on the north side and on the south side. So in other words, San Isidro Parkway will divide one crew, and then the other crew will be south. So the guys on the south can actually we're able to maintain more the overhang and the fairways to get in there. But that's
we have no complaints, sir. It's
yeah.
a great park.
Yeah, we can
The
make
way
it
it's
better. Yeah, we
trimmed,
can make it better.
we love the way it's trimmed.
Right.
We're just asking for,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, if it's a place.
No,
it's okay.
anything that's overhang, we'll trim it out.
Yes,
of course.
sir.
It's
And
just a matter
the
of
role
trim.
as a committee coach, we'd be able to make recommendations and of course, come up with a cost, right? Come up with a cost.
Right,
Is that
like
what we can
benches
do?
and water, and all that stuff can be done, you know. That's about
The water one, I would really suggest the water one because,
Okay.
yeah, especially we play. We don't care what weather it is. We're playing in 104-degree weather, and
Right.
we had a guy fall out, and he works in the oil rigs. I'm like, dude, you're from the Norias, and you're passing out, you know, hole 16. Like, but I get it. It's hot. It's humid. Like, but the water one, I would really say, not just for us, but I mean, the whole community can benefit from
Right,
that.
right.
Those water fill stations with the bottle and stuff like that,
Mhm.
if it's doable, because there's by hole 15, there's a restroom area there. And if you can install one of those, I think it'd be a great investment all around, because you guys have 5Ks, bicycle
Yeah.
rallies all the
Every
time.
weekend. Pretty
Real
much.
quick, you know, a refill station, I guess you can call.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, yes,
Are you
sir.
suggesting we put or they put the water fountain or fill station right where the restroom is?
I would think so, because there's no
The
reason
water-
to reinvent the
water
wheel.
connection.
Water's already there.
The
Yeah,
water connection,
there's no
yeah.
reason to reinvent the wheel and put something standalone. I think
Right.
right there would be great. And as long as we're all gonna know, we all communicate pretty well. Like, hey guys, there's a place where you can fill up so you don't die. You know, so you don't dehydrate. As for the benches, I mean, I put every other hole because I know they're kind of pricey. So, but just somewhere where, like I said, we have some older players that might want to take a seat in between rounds, and for the community as well. I mean, everybody could sit on those benches because we noticed that there's not a lot of benches around that park. It's mostly walkway, and by the time you find a bench, so you got to go all the way to the dog park or. You know, so I mean, it's just an idea that we throw around. Maybe that'll help. Trash cans. I mean, that's a no-brainer because we clean up. Just so you have an idea, we go out throughout the whole course. We're on hole 12. We find trash. We actually pick it up, put it in our backpacks, and by the time we hit a trash can, you know, we're pretty much loaded up with trash in our backpacks.
Right.
But I think if having more accessible trash cans, or at least more of, you know, it's easier for us to clean it up, and we're doing the community a favor by cleaning it up. So I mean, we don't mind. We take care of our course, honestly. Graffiti and all that, we report it because we don't want it to get messed up. We like what we have, and we don't want it to deteriorate. Signage at every tee. You guys haven't seen the tee, but no, my poor T-Flowers were asking for it, but right? You go to T1, it says hole 1, and that's it. And in other parks, what we see is like hole 1, T1, 230 feet to basket with a little cutout of the Google map to show you where the basket's at. Because if you're new to it, you don't know where the
Basically, the way the golf course has it. When you drive up to the tee box,
Exactly.
you've got the yardage.
That way you know
And
what the
the design.
yardage is, you know where the basket. Because if you don't know what you're doing, if you've
Yeah.
never played before, some of those baskets you'll never find. Because there's dog hooks and stuff like that. You'll never see the basket around the brush.
Right.
But that's just, I mean, that's extra. That's
No,
a
no,
little-
no, no,
Más
it
crema
makes-
dos
it makes
tacos,
sense, it
basically,
makes
right?
sense.
Like, if you can make it happen.
That makes sense.
Number 9, wooden pole bags with hooks. I saw it on Facebook. That's the only reason we throw it in there. Picture like a wooden pole with some hooks sticking out. It's not too much of an investment, and you carry that bag for 4.5 hours full of discs. It gets a little tiresome after a while. Then you can just kind of, because then you throw it on the floor and you start ripping your bag up. But if you just hook it on that pole, that's gonna save everybody's shoulder, if it's possible. You
Liz,
know?
can you look into see where we can find those?
And the water fountain. But basically that's it. We didn't go too crazy because we know a lot of things cost money and money
Yeah.
doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah, no, we can,
In fact, those wooden poles, I think you might even be able to make in-house. You have,
Nothing fancy, just those, what do they call the 4x4s,
Right.
square ones?
Metal.
Yeah.
Yeah. a couple of-
With some hooks and people would love that.
Me traigo yendo no,
Yeah. No, wait, no, I'm sorry.
Pasado los
Like
tienes.
I think 4 hooks would be perfect. Because there's, the more people you play with, the longer it takes. So like a perfect group of people would be about 4 or 5 people. Some of us have carts, so we don't need it, but do you guys still carry them around with the backpack? Yeah,
We have plans for a future.
and I was telling Chairman Vasquez is like a lot of this work. I'm sure that a lot of us will volunteer to do it as well. Like if you guys bring it up and hey, you know, we're gonna do this day, we'll go out there. I'll be one of them, be digging and whatever I gotta do.
Okay.
Hey, you have a good community. You have a really good community.
What amount of players do you think you have there, sir? Muscle
In the community,
Yeah.
roughly about 200.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Is
sir.
there a way we can track them, perhaps having them, get on our website, create some type of link or something?
What about a QR code?
There you
If
go.
you were to put
There
the
you go.
yard and distance,
Right.
and you have people check in through a QR code,
There
We
hey,
can
you go.
GPS
they
them.
played
And that's
they
to,
played 9 holes.
I guess, record how
Right.
many players play and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, like when they go up there, with the barcode, it gives us track of how many people are playing.
Let's say you
one,
put it in hole one.
and then
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
other thing with GPS golf, when I go play golf, so
Mhm.
whatever course that I'm going to, I'll click Silverhorn, and then boom, it shows me
Well,
the overhead of the.
We
of
do
the-
that with the app the one I was mentioning. It's called UDisc, and you check in on UDisc. But I mean, I know you want something in house to kind of
Yeah, just to
justify
kinda
the
keep-
improvements you're
right,
gonna make.
Right.
But we do have something that we all do, and you know we have a Bluetooth setting. Boom, it turns on. It tells you how many players are on the course at one time. It's a really cool app. But I understand what you mean. You're trying to.
It wouldn't
justify
be
the
that big
improvements.
of a deal, right?
No.
So let's say you put those, you know, hole one, 250 yards,
Mhm,
you get there and you guys check in,
mhm.
right? Just everybody queues.
Yeah, no, I'm sure the guys would love that because I know it keeps stats for you guys, and hopefully that leads to something better later on down the line.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is,
Yeah.
is that we
It's
see there's a
tracking.
need to maybe do another one at another park,
Yes, sir.
but that.
No,
that'll
all
help
for it.
us.
All for it. I think the guys would. It doesn't take too much to just scan it.
And like I told you earlier, and I really mean it, is that I can set you up the community with the max and maybe have a weekend tournament there at the golf course. And they can put temporary baskets, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Una mañana o algo,
That'd be
and
awesome.
go out there and go play.
So just a bit of background. The Laredo disc golf scene was really lively about 5-6 years ago. There were in town tournaments being put on and stuff like that, and I don't know what happened. It started dying off a bit. But I told these guys like, hey, I'm here, man. I'm here to help in whatever way I can. So you know, just like I said, we're very indebted to you just by giving us the opportunity to come out here and you know give you our ideas and let our voice be heard.
Do other, like, clubs have, like, tournaments, like, in different cities? or
Yeah,
whatever,
oh,
like-
McAllen, the last one was about a year ago. McAllen's league came up here and hosted one in Laredo. But I was saying, why does McAllen have to come? Why can't we do it, you know? And
Nora, can you see if TAAF has frisbee golf as one of their sanctioned sports? TAF is Texas Association of Athletic Federations, which we are members of.
Yeah.
And they have from ping pong to bowling to all the different sports. And we are sanctioned under TAF.
uh-huh.
So if we are, as a matter of fact, Joe is not here. Joe is going to a convention, I think, the next couple of weeks up in Dallas.
Yeah.
And if there is a sport, then we can put ourselves in the list for us to host a qualifying tournament, so to say.
Oh,
And then from there, we get the ball rolling and possibly even host a state tournament here.
that'd be great.
And that gives us more of a reason
Exposure.
to put some more resources into this deal.
Hey, I'm all for
So-
it. And
so-
I got a bunch of guys that would love to help out with that.
Yeah, so if it's a sport on TAF, then I will definitely tell my superintendent, which is going up for a conference the next couple of weeks,
Yes, sir.
to put us on the list and look us into joining, we already are members, into possibly hosting a tournament. And then that's when we get together with you guys, so you can kind of give us the ins and outs, you know.
Yes, sir.
How
We
it
got
goes.
we got a lot of guys that go out of town and they do refereeing for the tournaments and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they do
Okay.
scorekeeping, they do rules. They become referees basically for courses in other
Okay.
parts of the cities. So yeah, no, we got an avid group at this conference here. You have a good community. And like I said, I can't reiterate it enough. Just being here, they're super elated that you guys took the time to listen to us, and we're very appreciative. And hopefully something comes of it.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. No, we will definitely, listen to, thank you for coming, and we will definitely look into making it better. I can tell you, I live around that area, so I park my car every morning there and I switch cars.
Sunday morning, 7:30, sir, right now.
Yeah. I don't know about Sunday morning. But there's a lot of people already teeing up at 7:30, 8 o'clock. Yeah, there's a lot of people.
No, hombre, fíjese, a lot of the guys go on Saturday morning so they can go to church on Sunday.
Mhm.
And we go Sunday morning and we go to church on Saturday. You know, so it's
I would
a
probably do
tight knit
that.
community. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot of it's very family oriented. You know, it's we take care of what we have.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And we will definitely just make a motion here, Mr. Just to make, if you want to make it a.
Make a motion to look into see what we can do to make these improvements.
Sure.
As
These
suggested.
recommendations.
And of course, we're open to hearing staff with further recommendations on some of these improvements.
We can come back in about a month, next meeting, and we kind of give you an idea of what the cost would be and what our plan would be.
That'd be great.
We'll sit down with Liz and our park planner and maybe visit with you guys and see how we can improve it and give the committee a little master plan, so to say, what the
Yeah.
plan would be, so we can go.
Honestly, I think the best way to appreciate the whole thing would be to go out there and walk it
Yeah,
and
sure.
play a few rounds, and
Mhm.
we'll be more than happy to take y'all out there.
Okay.
You don't gotta bring anything. We have frisbees.
Ya no lo encontraron.
There's a motion by Mr. Martinez, and I'll second. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against none, motion carries.
Awesome. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for taking the time and thank you for what you guys do. It means a lot to the community to have all these parks that are beautiful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
you,
Appreciate
sir.
it.
Thank you.
Bullet point number 7,
Thank you.
staff reports, update on for the Shiloh Bike Trail grant.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. With us here, we have from Economic Development, Mr. Ortiz. He will give you an update as far as what's going on with the Shiloh Hike and Bike Trails. Let me zoom out a little bit. We're right across the highway from what we're talking about. I'll give you a little perspective of what we're talking about here. This is McPherson. All right here is Pollo Loco, La Carreta, if you look here at the map. All right, the grant that we're talking about is Woodruff Parks and Wildlife, and we want to thank Economic Development for partnering up with us and engineering to get this making it possible. He'll get more into the details, but you can have an idea. Right now, what we're proposing in this grant is to make a hike and bike trail that comes around to Springfield and connects to the top part into, this is Monaco, up on top into Lovato Loop, all the way down here, and then make a little cul-de-sac turn to connect a hike and bike trail, because the bigger picture is to make a little connection right in here and start doing, we have trails right now, as you can see. I can't zoom in as much as I can, but the next phase of it is to improve our hike and bike trails inside the trail. So this grant that we're just talking about is to do the upper part of it. Okay, is that right, Mr.
Yes.
To do the upper part of it, and then the next phase will be, actually this Monday, we have a consultant coming in. What's the name of it? Not Chicken Peak.
Rock Solid.
Rock Solid, and they're gonna give us a master plan of what they came in and did a site visit, how we can improve the Shiloh hike and bike trails, because as a community from the Gulf Frisbee Gulf, we have a big community of cyclists that come and do in there. Really nice. It's hard enough walking, much less driving a bicycle, and there's different types of levels. There's different types of levels, from intermediate to professional to local. All right. But you know, that's one thing we're trying to improve. But he will explain to you as far as what this phase 1 or what this grant is gonna entail. There is a match as well, which I think we will discuss there, okay? Go ahead, Mr.
So good afternoon, Jaime Ortiz, Economic Development. So for every grant that we apply, we have to get the plans approved by the grantor. In this case, which was Texas Parks and Wildlife. The funds we're using, they are federal funds from Federal Highway Administration. For some reason, they're using TxDOT as a pass-through. So we have an extra step that we have to take with TxDOT. But I mean, it's all the same. What we submit to Texas Parks and Wildlife, they share with TxDOT, then eventually with Federal Highway Administration. The plans were submitted and they were approved back in July 29. They did ask for us to do an archaeological survey. That we already have a consultant. We're working with them to finalize the archaeological study. That archaeological study does take between 30 and 90 days. We're hoping that by the end of this month we'll have everything ready. But we can't start any construction until we get that study done. This design was one that we submitted. It's just from Springfield all the way to that small cul-de-sac on Monaco. Because on the south portion we do have a lot of bike trails and all that. We did in our plan we submitted for bike repair stands. We are gonna have air pumps and all along the trail we're gonna have light poles, and we're looking into putting an emergency phone tower in that area. So we're hoping that hopefully before the end of the year we'll start construction. Because this is a project that's gonna be built in-house, it won't take that long to complete once we start construction. But this is a project between Public Works and Engineering.
The grant has been awarded?
Yes.
And so it started September 1st?
We got awarded, I wanna say late last year. It does take a long time, for them to actually let you, start working on all the paperwork and all that. But we are in the studies right now that they're doing. But after that, it shouldn't take the Public Works Department long to complete the project.
What was the total amount of the award?
300.
300,000.
300,000. And then the match?
The match 20%.
20%.
Yes.
About 30.
Yeah.
This is, and I know that it had been brought up to the committee before, and seeing improvements in the Shiloh bike trails was something that we've had individuals come up to us and talk to us on it. Being able to see some work being done is impressive. I don't know if you have anything else.
Part of the overall plan, Mr. Chair and committee members, part of the overall plan, I don't know if you already, I'm sorry, I said to step out a bit, is to connect, to do the trail underneath the bridge here, like Pollo Palenque, go underneath the bridge and connect to North Central Park. Okay? So the big picture is North Central Park, which is right here, come underneath, come into the Shiloh bike trails, get on that hiking bike, come up on Springfield North, and connect to Divine Mercy. That's the plan. So that's one big regional park coming from the east side of McPherson all the way underneath to Shiloh High, head up north into Divine Mercy. And guess what? Now we have North Central Park times 4, right? Because we're connecting all these parks here. And the plan also is later on, we'll bring you next meeting. Our plan now is to build pickleball courts here in Divine Mercy.
Yeah, that's in the plans.
That's in the plans. We'll be, so now, if I park at Divine Mercy, for say, I can park there and I can be able to have access to, if I stay on the trail, it's hard to have access all the way up to North Central Park without even seeing a car.
No, that's great.
That's beautiful.
That's the scope of all the way up to the North Rim, which is over here behind by Murphy's and all that. Will be one big one connection. And we're almost there. This is gonna be a big, this is a big stepping stone as far as what we wanna connect to it. And it's a vision that council members and us as a staff, we kind of, hey, but this is available, why don't we do this? All of a sudden, wow, you know. So guess what, now we got from pickleball courts to frisbee golf, all in one park, all in one region. Because again, we're going back to, we're trying to concentrate on building bigger regional parks instead of these
Little
small
pocket parks.
Right. So that's the vision.
That's awesome, cool.
So hopefully we'll be around to see it, and we want to make it, you know, we can all enjoy it, and you know, and then this is just in the north, and then we have other plans in the south, and Liz has been working more with what we want to do in the south over there with Las Misiones, Lago, I was getting confused.
Yeah, and River Hills.
River Hill, Lago de Misiones,
The
Concord
Haynes-
Hills.
Weren't they gonna do something with the Haynes Park where it was gonna meet up with some
Yeah,
of
the EPA project,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
That's about $20 million.
Yeah.
But that's a federal grant.
Yeah, because I know that eventually they wanted those parts to kind of, like what
All
you're
connected,
doing here.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
They're going from like an 8-foot trail to like a 20-foot trail.
Wow.
And it's gonna have lights, call boxes, bike repair stations, solar, the lights are gonna be solar. And then we're putting, signage everywhere, and we're gonna add a community garden, at Haynes.
That's good.
So, we're following the master plan. This is not something that we just,
Correct.
we're following the master plan as we are trying to now implement these bigger parks. So that's exciting. When those pickleball courts are needed, we built some pickleball courts like on West Laredo. Always full, always being used. We're getting calls, when are you gonna build some more? So, hey, vamos, I think we already tagged the money, that city council meeting, to build them there at Divine Mercy. So we're gonna have six pickleball courts. And just a quick FYI, we do have one of the challenges here, I guess, well, let me just bring it up to Divine Mercy. One of the challenges that we have here is parking, but we have an MOU with the diocese as far as being able to park here. It is a little challenging because now we have football fields here. You can't tell it here, but we have 4 multi-purpose fields with lights. So we made this a parking lot. Okay, but once we build the pickleball courts, guess what? We're gonna have more people playing. So we're building some parking space here. The diocese, actually the Chief Landine, and speaking with the diocese, they're gonna let us do some temporary parking over here to alleviate the overflow of parking, because that park is, if you drive by there right now in about an hour, it is packed. It is packed. So, but in the 6 pickleball courts that we're doing here, we're gonna have about 40 slots. Is that right?
45.
45 slots, 45 parking slots, along with some temporary parking up here, because from what I understand from the diocese, they are in the process of building a church later on over here. So we don't want to put cement. We're just gonna put some millings so that if we need to, when 10 years from now, whenever they build a church, we didn't have to break the cement and all that stuff. So that's what that's the plan. But this is probably one of the, not the most visited used park that has been in the city, because it is always packed. And now, we're gonna have boys club and girls club playing their flag football games here too as well.
Oh.
So they're using this. Yeah. So todos estaban parqueando along the street here, so that's why this is like, I think there was like 3-4 acres. So we met with Councilman King, Public Works, and they put some millions on there, so this is a temporary parking. We're gonna use there.
And,
No, not temporary, it's a parking.
but that's a new subdivision across, is that, it's called, is that Deer?
This is Andrews Creek.
Andrews
Crossing.
Andrews Crossing.
Andrews Crossing, I'm sorry.
I was at the meeting when
When the lady went over there.
when the residents were
Yeah, so
bringing up
what-
their
and I guess-
concerns.
To brief you on that. the residents here from this Antler crossing.
If they didn't have light or stop or anything, there people would
It's,
driving
now
by.
that it's a major thoroughfare, they
On the
couldn't cross
bridge
the street.
over it.
So what traffic did, they couldn't stop the traffic, so what the traffic did is they put a walkway, they have to walk a little bit, they put a walkway with blinking lights, notified there's a pedestrian crossing right here with stop signs. So now they cross here and then they walk into the park over here. It is a little long, but it was the safest way and only way to do that. So, they were talking about building an overpass.
Yeah, that's what it's, I was,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying off and.
Yeah, it's like you're talking millions and millions of dollars for that. So that's where we stand. Okay?
Alright, Mr. Ortiz, you have anything else?
Nope.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you,
very much.
and thanks for your time and,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks to the staff and everybody. This is all a coordinating effort between different departments to get it going, and it takes a lot of, to apply for a grant.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, a lot of time and work and effort, so thank you for them.
Job well done.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Moving on to number 2 is the parkland dedication ordinance update.
Yep, all right, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm gonna pass the baton over to Anita. This is on, remember when we talked about, we were gonna take to P and Z as far as raising the fees for, right now, to give you an example, we have, we get $314 for every lot that developers give us for parks. Liz did a study and we're way behind on the price. So we went to management and we told, well, after studying so much, so we went to management and said, this is what we're probably gonna ask for, which was about maybe $555 around there. So, and Mr. Neb, and a very good point that he told us, how much, with what you're asking right now, is that what's really gonna cost you to build a playground? I said, nope, not even. So how much would it cost you? So we came back, we put the numbers again, it's actually gonna cost us, because now, a playground is anywhere costing between $175,000 and $250,000, all right? And then on top of that, we're the city, so they're gonna charge us an extra 30-40% more because it's the city, so cobran más.
They have money.
So, in doing the numbers, realistically, for us to build a nice playscape con su techo with a soft surface and the playground, and we came out to about $1,200 a lot. So we went from 314 all the way up to 1250. So, okay, we're gonna get in the firing range here. So, but that's fine. So let's go up there and make them aware, everybody. So we went up to P&Z about a month ago, right, early August, and we presented this information. All of a sudden, my God, we were dodging bullets, you know. But our intentions were not so much to pass it there. We were just trying to make some awareness. Look where we're at. Look what the money that we're getting. If we want the quality of life for all these people, we gotta pay. You know, right now, $314. Well, a barbecue pit costs us $375. It's the barbecue pit. If we go to the catalog right now, we're gonna get, and that's where the buy board costs, and $375 a barbecue pit. So in other words, they give us the money, we have the land, but we can't build anything because we don't have enough money. So we went up there. PNC said, "Oh, wait a minute, this is too much," and that's okay. We understood that. So in the meeting, they told us, "Why don't we get a subcommittee together? Let's get 3 from Parks Board and 3 from PNC with an alternate, okay, so that we can come up with a possible solution that's gonna be fair for everyone, okay." So that's where we stand right now. We have met, and now I'm gonna pass it over to Anita to give you an update where we stand now, okay? Go ahead.
Okay, I know that not all of you were present when we did our first presentation to you, so I'm gonna make it really brief, and just go into like Cliff's Notes, if you will. So the existing, the entire reason that this is changing is because, and how we can justify it is because of the increase in density in our city. So the population, back in 2008 was 176,000 people. Currently, the census 257,000. So we've got more people using, our parks, and so this is one of the main factors that we're facing. Cost per acre per land also. cost has increased from $45,000 to an average of $55,000. It varies throughout the city, just depending on where you are. These are the factors that we're taking into consideration. Cost of parkland improvement, Coach just talked about it. Back when we came up with this ordinance in 2008, we used $80,000 as a number to identify how much it was gonna cost us to develop a park. That number is actually far increased, and so we're looking at an average of $156,000. And that's a touch, that's just a drop in the bucket, but this is where, so the challenges that we're facing are, as Coach said, the inflation. The average cost, it just depends on how small you want the playground. It'll be anywhere from $80,000 to $550,000. A full park, to develop a full park, would be between 660 and 1.5 million, also depending on the size of the park. Population has grown from 176 to 257, and so the growth of the city. So these are the factors, the challenges that we're facing, and we always get comments from people, how come you all don't? And that's how they always preface it, and it's, well, you know, we don't have the funds to be able to do it. So the amendments that we made to the ordinance include the increase in density to the residential area. So this is, you know, we recalculated, the formula stayed the same, we just recalculated the numbers to reflect the changes that we're currently undergoing. And so we added some language to clarify. So anytime you bring a plat or a plan in front of us, that's when this ordinance kicks in. A lot of times people, I don't have to get a plat, you know, they have a master plan, I don't need to get a plat, or a plan. So they would go through the process and they were able to create, 200 units of multifamily. And so whenever there's increase in density, that's why that language was put in, whenever there's increase in density is when, the ordinance kicks in, you know, and the fees kick in. Multifamily requirements, that also speaks to that for that exact same reason. You know, it was bypassing the Parks Department, going straight to building, and it would never come back to us. So in order to ensure that we did our role of making sure we have parks, we made sure that the language was modified here. The biggest change in this ordinance that we're trying to do is ensure that we provided the developers with incentive to actually build the park. The developers or contractors, they can do it cheaper. They can do it just as well, and they can come in hopefully in less time than it would take us, because we have time restrictions. We have to go out for bids. We have to have bonds. People need to come in with bonds to build to construct something in the city for us. And if it's a lower amount, we have to get 3 bids, and so the time restraints are vast. And so that was one of the things, you know, it takes a long time for the city. Well, yeah, because we've got all these restrictions for procurement. And so that was another one of the main changes that we made. Adding incentive to the developer. So the whole purpose of that is, plain and simple, it would cost us $350,000 to build a park, moderately sized, right? So the developer is there, he's already building his houses, he's got concrete, you know, doing the gutters and the streets. He can probably do that $350,000 park, he can probably build it for about $150,000. That's okay, because we know what it cost us. So we are putting a price list based on, if you do, you know, 1,000 linear feet of a walking trail, 6 feet by 1,000 feet. You'll do the walking trail. It has to be 4 inches of concrete, you know, and give the specs in there. We want benches. They need to be steel, and they need to be, you know, 6-foot benches. So we'll put specs built in to the list, and so this is what we want. In this particular area, going back through our Parks Master Plan, we need a soccer field. We need a soccer field. We want 2 benches, 2 bleachers. We want 4 water fountains. We want, you know, whatever that case is. And we'll spec it out and we'll price it out. And you owe us, based on the cost on your park improvement fee, you owe us $350,000. Okay, so we'll do the price list based on what the need is in that area to get to $350,000. If it costs you $200,000, we don't care. You will get the $350,000 credit, okay? That's the incentive. So the developer is like, if I could save, $150,000. Yeah, we're not here to make a profit. We're here to get the parks built. And so that is the main incentive that we're building into this ordinance. And so we've heard a lot of positive comments on that one. So that was one of the biggest changes. The other biggest change is what Coach just alluded to, is it's going from $314 to $1,200 per unit. And that's the park improvement fee. That's a hard pill to swallow for some developers, so I've got some comments that I just wanted to mention real quick. Also, they have 36 months to construct a park. It is 18 months right now. We're modifying it, taking it to 36 months. We can't even build a park in 18 months. And much less, developers building, 200 houses. It's just very difficult. And that's it in a nutshell with regard to the ordinance, the changes that we're making. The comments that we're making, and then we of course added the examples and what have you. The comments that we're hearing, of course, lower the cost. 1,200 is a lot to swallow. So one of the developers commented, bring it back down to 700, or take it to 700, which is funny because that was our second number. We had thought, okay, 555, if you just do the math equal to equal, it's like, okay, well, let's take it up to 700. So that was one of the developers' comments, is let's take it to 700. And one of the thought processes on that is build in an annual escalation fee because of the CPI, of inflation. So if we do that, we'll get to the 1,200. It may take us like 5 or 6 years, but as soon as we get there, it'll at that point start kicking in with inflation. So we can keep on escalating the dollar amount, the percentage amount, based on what it actually costs to purchase. So that was one of the comments.
From how much to what? How much? What's the difference?
314 to 700. Right now it's 314 to 1,200. That's the
They have
proposal. That was the
proposed.
initial proposal. But
That's a big cut.
yeah.
O sea, I mean, you know what I'm saying? We're still gonna ending up short.
Yes.
At 700,
We're still short.
we're still gonna be short, but have to be concerned about the fact that it needs to pass, first of all, and second of all, the developers are. It's a hard pill for them to swallow. The other comment that they made is.
But their suggestion, if I can just interject, is 700. That's an amount that they'd be okay with.
That was one developer who commented that. Of course, there was other comments.
So that could be our base.
Yeah.
That could be our base.
And what I think-
They
Sí, o sea,
threw-
ni ellos ni nosotros.
They
O sea,
threw
ni
that
ellos
in,
ni-
but then,
ni-
yeah, because I think something
If-
feasible, something halfway,
Right.
800.
Yeah,
you know,
and
850.
I think two things. We raised the awareness of, wow, look how much it costs to build the park. Even the developers, whoa, we didn't know that. All right, like how much it costs. One. Number two, the consumer is gonna end up paying for it, right? The guys, they're gonna put the charge on the consumer.
Correct.
And they're correct, right? They're correct. But you tell me, and you're talking to some developers, if I'm gonna buy a house in San Isidro but I know there's a park coming up here, it's gonna raise the value of that house. I don't mind paying that little extra, whatever you gotta do, knowing that there's gonna be some kind of park around here.
And not only that, Coach, but then you'll also look at, you don't pay a monthly park fee. How you get your trash picked up. Any other city service is you get a fee, right? Garbage, water, even police and fire. It's not monthly, but if you use fire.
When you get your alarm,
Oh,
you
your
have to
alarm.
pay
Oh, yeah, it's a
the
yearly
the
fee.
PD there in the house.
So
Yeah.
all of those
So
things.
that's what we've been
Parks
talking
doesn't
about.
have that streamlined revenue other than the appropriated funds
The
through
budget.
the city budget every year. So, and it's services that obviously that we hear every month is that obviously to the operational costs, the labor, all these costs that are associated with parks, which are major costs for events and season after season, and then there isn't a streamline of revenue. So I think that that's also something that we need to clarify and make them understand.
Like, if you think about
Right.
it, you pay a gym membership anywhere from $40 to $100 a month.
Y ni van.
My thing
Me apunto.
is-
Soy de esos.
it's just one of those things where we feel that
It's just
you
going.
need to keep, you need to, and then people call and complain, oh, the park's not maintained.
It's a necessary
Well,
evil.
Yeah.
Well, it's kinda like, well, pay the $40 a month or whatever, and we'll
Right.
make sure that we have more staff to take care of the parks.
And that's the thing, we're going for $700, right? And this is to help build a park in a development that's coming up. But we don't have the people to keep up with the maintenance,
Right.
with all of that.
Yeah,
right?
cause then they build it and then it's up to.
And that's it,
It's
it's,
up,
then
they build
it's
it.
it's our buck that needs to go
Right, now we
take
gotta
care of
take care
it,
of it.
right?
Uh-huh.
So that's, to me, that's too much of a difference
Is there-
between 13 some to 7, that's too much.
Is there
Or you come up
any-
with that,
Or-
with
or
a fee in our trash can, in our trash pickup. But there has to be something where you guys have revenue coming in.
Right.
It
That
has
was
to be
one of the
code.
comments that were made, actually, either get it from like
It's all right.
a parking fee, get a percentage, can you tap into that, or?
The subcommittee did
Can the city-
mention when we were on the subcommittee is that, $1 on the garbage collection,
Mhm.
you know, to be added, and to be considered. I would even,
I'd even go as high as 10, because you're getting access to a park, whether you go or not. But even if you live around the park, you want it maintained, you don't want it to look trashy.
I think that's something we need to look into, for real,
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
$1, $10, $3
I just
per,
think that.
per house. I mean, yeah, you have $5 million coming
Somebody,
in.
somebody even brought up the bridge fee.
Yes.
Get it, I think so, get $1 from the bridge
it
crossing.
was mentioned, but it.
That was one of
Yeah,
the.
That's a hard sell.
That's a hard sell.
Yeah.
Mr. Hernandez, did you get a comment?
Do they have any liabilities? So when they construct the park, once it's finished, is there any liabilities for the construction or development?
No, it would be the
Company.
equivalent of, we're entering into a contract with this individual,
Mhm.
and our engineering department would look at it. They would give us the warranties from the actual equipment, whether it's
Okay.
playground or whatever, what have you, they pass those warranties on to the city, so the city now owns
Mhm.
this property. You know,
So
the
they
property
would
is
be
now
free
deeded
of-
over to the
Of
city.
any liability, civil
Correct.
lawsuits or anything, okay.
Correct,
And they would have to follow things that you would use to build it.
exactly,
Right, right.
so
We
it would,
would give them a game plan, this is what we want.
right.
Like I guess the federal or state guidelines, like the park has to have ADA.
And they're also getting,
It has to have everything.
Yeah.
they're also getting it at a lower cost. They're also getting it at a lower cost compared to if it was a city building.
Exactly.
You know, is that a 20-30% less?
Yes,
At least 30%,
At
at
least.
least. If we were to put a sidewalk for $10,000, they're gonna charge us $18,000 for that same sidewalk, right off the bat.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things, Coach, that I would recommend is, I don't know if you have, kind of like if we were to build any kind of park, this is what the cement costs, is like give them a breakdown. So that way, as a developer, you see it,
Yeah.
and it's like, hey, you know what? Maybe it's better for me to do it, and I can sell that the park's already being built, or the halfway when I'm
Right.
selling these homes.
Yeah. Kind of like a cafeteria plan. this
Yeah,
is
it's
the
kind of
menu,
like,
this
well,
is- this
if
is
we
what
were to
it
build it, this is what it would
Right.
cost. What would it cost you all? Have the builder give you a proposal and compare.
And if it costs them 50% off, then hey, like Renita said, you're getting credit for the 300,000. If you build it for
Correct.
150, more power to you, man. You
And
know?
you're helping yourself, you're
Yeah, you
helping
have to
your
pay for it.
subdivision, you're gonna sell,
Yeah,
you're gonna
you
sell
don't have
fast.
to. You don't have to come up with a $150,000 check.
This is our first meeting after the subcommittee
Right.
was started, but planning and zoning has already met.
We
right?
we
And
went
you
back
all
to
were
we
there.
went back to Thursday, Mr. Chair. We went back Thursday to give them an update, and I think I had a commitment, but Anita went for, and you want to give them the update on that?
so I reported that we had commenced with the subcommittee, we had one meeting. It was very successful, there was a lot of positive comments at the meeting, and, one of the ones that mirrored is, we had to start somewhere. We had to bring the awareness to the community, you know, your developers, that this is where we're at. And so, I asked that the item be tabled, not time certain, give us an opportunity to meet with the subcommittee, and one of the other comments that they asked us is the possibility of perhaps incorporating 2 additional individuals into that subcommittee, and that would be 2 developers. And I just don't know how thought would be selected.
Yeah, cause you don't wanna
Yeah,
get
like,
to the
oh,
point of
yeah.
you're favoring some, not the other.
What if we do it like you know, they have like coffee with police or whatever, where we meet?
Like
in
a town
in
hall.
Like a, yeah, a town hall with the developers, and whichever developers show up, we'll take their recommendations or what.
Listen to them.
Just because you brought out a good point where it's like, oh, so you're favoring this one is, and he's the one building all over town, or you're favoring this other, and I just don't want it to look like,
What do you think, I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
What do you think perhaps if, we send, not an email, or somehow, some type of communication, please reach out to these individuals, either our Parks Board or our Planning and Zoning, if you have a comment, and the subcommittee can bring it together and bring us those comments. I'm concerned if you do an, open house type situation, you're gonna get bombarded, and it may turn extremely political instead of
helping, yeah,
informative.
it's informative. Yeah, then my recommendation is, do it like that, where send a comment, you can put our emails or whatever, so we can bring it up at the meeting.
Right.
I guess the best people to contact would be the Laredo Builders Association, because I know
There
that
you go.
she'll send out to all the builders, or the, like, hey, they're gonna have, contact these people, give them a comment, this is what they're proposing, you know, let us see it, we'll compile it, meet, the committee
And
will
that they
meet.
be invited to every subcommittee, you know, that, hey, the subcommittee's gonna be meeting on this date. Obviously that there's public comment sections on every, on each one, and agenda will also be, you know, circulated with that. So that they're, you know, because of an essence of transparency.
But
And
you
I
don't
think
wanna
that the
have
city hall-
you don't wanna have Armadillo and Kidham there. Cause they're not really gonna, I mean, you're gonna want somebody that's a little bit,
Yeah, the mom and pop.
the mom and pop guy, right? Cause
But
he's the
this
one
is
that's gonna
more-
be heard
but-
more than
But this
everybody
is more
else.
the development of the
Okay,
subdivision, so it would be the developers, right?
is that what that is? Okay, so they're
Yeah.
the bigger ones that
Right.
but is it gonna affect the smaller ones?
No, it wouldn't, because everybody's voice is important and it's gonna count. Because it's the idea that we're concerned about, and so we know what we need to do to build a park. We know what it's gonna cost us. So, but we want to know your opinion. One of the developers, and I can't remember which one, at the last meeting, I don't know if it was at the planning and zoning meeting, but one of the developers made, it was the one at our meeting yesterday,
Yeah.
commented, okay, understand, and we hadn't thought of it, understand, in South Laredo, you've got a developer who's putting 100 houses, let's say on 5 acres, whatever that number is, right? But on those 5 acres, so he's got 100 houses here. In North Laredo, on 5 acres, they may be putting 10 houses. You know, I want an acre lot. And so it's not equitable because the fee is to be charged by unit. So obviously then, the South Laredo at 100 units would be charged 100 units times
to the
1,200,
people.
exactly. And then vice versa, over here, it'd be 10 units times the 1,200. So, okay, then we're, so I talked to Liz about it earlier, and it was to build that in, you know, comparable, just based on, and have
Lot
3
size.
columns, exactly, either lot size, or on this bracket, it's how many units per acre, on this, then this is your fee, on this
There you go.
column, it's this many, then this is your fee, and then here, then this is your fee.
Right
So
before
I
we walked
love
in here,
that.
right before we walked in, Liz gave me a little cutout, little handout. And it's pretty much just to give you an example, I'm just gonna throw it. If the lot size is between 3,000 square feet, this is your fee, this is what your fee is gonna be. If it's between 3,000 and 5,000, then this is your lot, this is your fee. Compared to when you have a $14,000 square feet lot,
Yeah.
well, this is what your fee is gonna be. You see what I'm talking about?
So kind of do like a
Like a
square
scale.
footage, like a
It's
square
like a scale.
footage.
Do it by
Scale.
the scale.
It's like a scale.
Right.
It's like-
Square footage
that's,
or-
I mean, I just saw it real quick because you brought to me right before this.
That works.
And-
I think that's fair.
That's.
That's
I think it's fair.
that's right.
So,
No, it really is like
You wanna-
the
you wanna
cleanest
get-
way to do it.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, that sounds reasonable too, you know,
Yeah, it
something that
does.
we can, everybody is comparable to, you know, depends on
To
what size.
what type
Right.
of builder you are.
Right.
You're gonna do the small, you're gonna do the medium.
Right, so that's something, another proposal that we can bring up to the
Right.
And
committee.
this is gonna be led by the subcommittee, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And did they, since you mentioned about that they tabled the item about moving forward with the subcommittee?
No.
No,
Or-
to allow us more time because explaining how successful the meeting was and how informative, and they were very pleased because two of course, the planning and zoning members were on the board, on the subcommittee, and they chimed in. Yes, it's very informative and it's very helpful. And as I said, the developer that we met with yesterday is the one that gave us the idea. When he made that comment, just like light bulb, of course, that's a
Yeah,
great
makes-
idea. We need to take that into consideration when we're moving forward with this to make it fair and equitable for everybody.
Mhm.
So that's where we're at. So we would like to extend that, and you know, we can, if this is what the board wishes, we'll send a notice to the Builders Association, give the names of either all of the Parks board members and planning and zoning members, or only the ones who are part of the subcommittee.
I would say everyone's that way, whoever's in your district, they can reach out to you, and I just think that,
Okay,
I
so
don't
all
think it would be
members.
bad to.
True,
just
and
take
ultimately
whatever
whoever
ideas you all
selected,
have.
whoever are selected to the subcommittees, that we take that,
Yeah, exactly.
of
The
the,
input.
yeah,
Mhm.
that input.
Of the
Okay.
other
Mhm.
members.
So the last comment that they made is, we covered the last one, difference in cost per unit based on,
Lot
location.
size. Oh.
So, yeah.
And,
So,
and
that's where
now
we're
the
at.
next step is, and of course I know that it doesn't require any action, but what's the timeline for the subcommittee?
So we're gonna meet, we're gonna come up with a subcommittee again probably the next week or 2 weeks, meet with you guys. And, okay, here we are now. If we're going to throw ideas out, how do you wanna approach this? Do you wanna let the Laredo Builder Association reach out to the developers, to each one of you guys, and then you all bring your ideas here? What direction you want us to give you? Do you want us to give you some options? This is the per lot. Do you want us to give us 700 with a 3% increase? I think if we come with about 3 different options,
Yeah,
because if now we're gonna be there forever, we're not trying to
Yeah.
figure out, we're gonna be back and forth. If we come up with about 3 different options, this is what you recommend, so that you guys can give us the direction in the next couple of weeks, so that we can move this forward, all right? Because I think we don't wanna drag it too far, all right? And the word is already out there, all right? Están hablando y the council, the developers, council members have called me, hey, what's going on? Councilman, this, oh, no, once you hear that, pues, yeah.
well,
We
and
didn't
that
know
day,
that.
that day, I mean, you had developers show up on the
meeting.
Without even being
spot.
announced,
I
yeah,
mean, but
right.
it was something that we were first walking into, and so it's basically what we said, is like, hey, the decision is obviously not gonna be made right now, this is all into the planning, and then we take it from here.
Right.
I'm open to having us as individual members be able to contact,
They can contact us.
that we can contact it, and then at the subcommittee is we're able to bring up these concerns, that is like, hey, we are the designated representatives from the Parks Board, and, this was brought up to us as Park Board members, and, that they do the same. However, they can also be invited to attend the
meeting.
the subcommittee meeting, that developers can be there, of course.
We would just have to change venue.
Sí, porque se va a- so, you know.
No, my recommendation is, let's set a date for the subcommittee,
Yeah.
when we send out the
Right.
notification to the
Right.
builders or
Builders
associates, whatever,
association.
just tell them, hey, we need your ideas, let's say if we're having it on the 26th, we need your ideas by the 25th, so we can
Voice them
put them
there.
together and voice them at the
Yeah.
meeting.
I think we're shooting for the last Wednesday of September, in the middle of the year, whatever that day was.
Okay, that, I have a board meeting, so if anything,
Okay,
it has to be.
well, we had it on a Thursday last time, is that right? Was it?
No,
No, it was a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Was it a
It
Wednesday?
was a Wednesday, but it wasn't the last Wednesday.
It was the last Wednesday, or was it?
It wasn't.
Was it?
Okay,
So, I can do it October 2nd.
October 2nd?
October 2nd, maybe it will be good, that's fine.
The designated representatives from the board we'll continue with that, Mr. Barron, Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mr. Rosan?
Is alternate.
He's the alternate,
He was an alternate, yes.
and myself.
Yes, sir. But, you know, I think the more people getting, the more people from our board get more informed about it, but the more they're going to know
What's going on?
what's going on, right?
Mhm.
Because they think that we're just raising the money, the prices becoming higher. So, I think it was a long time coming, and yes, I know we took a long time to doing this, but we don't wanna come up here just to throw out. Now that we brought Liz about a year and a half ago, that was one of her first tasks, just start getting this done, so it took some time and research to do all this. So that's where we at now.
No, it's long overdue, and I know that it's just a difficult pill to swallow, but eventually you have to take the meds.
Right.
In that sense, it's.
Okay, Coach, so then this is for this, right? But going back to that fee in the garbage bill or whatever,
Uh-huh.
what can we do to get that going?
That's a
This
recommendation.
is,
that you
this
have
is
to do.
also here.
On the subcommittee.
On the
We
subcommittee.
can
On
do
that
that too,
subcommittee.
okay.
Right.
Our role would, and I think that the best thing would be to send how they're presenting, different, measurables to us, on how to proceed with the fee, whether it be on the scale system or whether it be a one-time, and then revisit, or a yearly. Our role should also be to send over to council as to, you're tasked with this, but hey, developers are also asking that the city come up with a source of revenue for the parking. Now, whether it be,
Whatever
we
it
can
is.
get creative, yeah, and we send 2 or 3 recommendations to council and how they decide.
At the end of the day, the council's the one that's gonna have to approve. You can say 1,000, but no, we're gonna bring it down to 700 with the fee coming from $1 from the traffic tickets or whatever they're gonna come up with, right? Whatever they're gonna come up. At the end of the day, we're gonna do a recommendation. P&Z only recommends, and then at the end, the council's the one that approves it. As a final. So.
That would be the easiest one.
Because I'm just thinking, like, if we can figure out, like, so many people have a water bill, you can get a good amount whether we do the $10 or that. And it could be an annual, it could be, let's say at $1 a month, you pay $12 for the year.
Because I'll tell you the truth, the water bill is a tough sell. If you're looking at it as an elected official, it's like, the water bill is a tough sell. However, the traffic ticket, you increase it, $5-10 each traffic
You
ticket.
know what's another one, Coach?
And
Like,
everyone's
gotta
like,
At
pay,
work,
and then
we
I'm
get
gonna pay more.
hundreds,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get
thousands
stopped.
of people going and doing community hours
What about,
to pay off a ticket.
library, library?
And the
they
court
give you a
gives
card,
those people
you're using it.
$12.50
So
per
what about a
hour.
card?
So if you owe 2,000 hours, it's times $12.50, so that's a big ticket.
So if you're using
If they
it,
don't wanna do
you're
community
gonna
hours, they
have
can
to
go
use
pay
it.
half of the fine, that comes here.
that
That's
was,
Chuy Dominguez.
that was for your what?
He can,
So that we can get people into the park system to help maintain it?
no, so they can pay the fee
To pay the.
to get out of doing community,
okay,
to
okay.
get out of doing community service.
How we have it right now is that we have court costs in place. It's like, hey, so you are in,
Like I'm saying,
I
like
get
Chuy
it.
Dominguez,
Yes.
right? Chuy Dominguez sends us, in 1 year, I think we did over 200,000 hours of community service. People go and they say, hey, I don't have time to do it, man. You guys accept gift cards? No, we don't accept gift cards. Right? But they're willing to pay. That's my point. So if somebody goes to.
it's casual.
Yeah, no, but if they go to Coach, if they go to Chuy Dominguez and say, hey, I don't have time, let me just give pay half of the fee or whatever, then that money goes to Parks and Rec. I'm telling you, I have a book of this many people doing community hours a year.
Yeah,
A lot.
well, and either there's court costs associated to the park, and the municipal can help collect a park fee, but then ultimately it's also, obviously that the bridge revenue was also, that's one of the ones that was immediately shut down. Yeah.
I don't see this one. They have a ticket. They're average speeding. They got whatever. You want to do that?
I was thinking code enforcement. Code enforcement, pushing on code. One is you beautify the community, you also identify future parkland. and then you can, that you make up, that these tickets be taken into consideration, like, hey, clean up your areas. So that it can be incorporated there, or traffic tickets. I would think the traffic ticket would be the best. I mean, nobody wants to get a speeding ticket, nonetheless, now an added $10-15 to pay for parks. It goes from 150, let's say it goes up to 165.
So
It
we're
does- it
improving
does-
the community on all different sides.
That's right.
Don't speed anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like,
That's right.
it's a win-win, really.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cute.
How, you know, so it's something that we need to get, that we need to get creative, and I know Mr. Hernandez was bringing up a point, or, I'm sorry, a suggestion.
You, like, for example, at library, they charge you a fee to use the library. Could we charge a fee for you to use the park?
Well, and currently there's
With an ordinance, we can, but we need to make sure, we need to check with legal and finance
Okay.
to see how that would actually play out.
technically you can, because if you're gonna go use a rec center, you
You pay a fee.
you pay a fee.
Use a
But
pool,
however,
you pay a fee.
but there's no tracking, like, let's say you wanna go jog in North Central in North
How
Central
would
Park.
you try?
Yeah, how would you track that
No,
you?
like, you can't really use the
A
honor
parking
system
enforcement.
because nobody's gonna, yeah.
Yeah, if you put it like on the entrance, everybody you start going in through it.
What if we have vending machines at all the parks and we collect revenue that way?
No, I don't know.
But that would collect a lot.
We
And
can, we could look into it.
Each machine costs what, like 3,000?
They don't steal it.
Used one?
They'll
Yeah.
steal it, the home.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's different ways, and I mean, maybe something we could also look, us as a staff, we could start to see what other cities do, getting some kind of revenue so that we can kind of compare.
the parking department has gotten creative. I had a call to the office a few weeks ago where, I guess that they thought that they were calling the parking office or something, and they said, they came and put a booth in my car. I said, yeah, like, what's this about? That they went to their residence and the parking department put, because they had outstanding parking tickets for, so they used to only do it downtown, right? Like if you were downtown and you owed, they would go put you, now they find you at your house.
Oh.
Yeah, they put it because he was at the driveway at his house, and I was like, well, I had never heard that before, but that parking does that,
That's
and they give
crazy.
you a certain amount of time to pay. If not,
Yeah, but
the
then,
parking with the
you
parking
can't go
marshal.
on private property.
No, that's right.
I think
Because I'm thinking like
I think he must have been on his
On the
on the
street,
sidewalk
on the sidewalk.
After I see
Yeah. Yeah.
Public.
So we just have to get creative. Parking is getting creative, so it's like, okay, so now we just have to get creative.
We'll look into the user fees for parks and see if we can assess some type of, but like I say, that's a legal and finance.
I
Well,
I think that's
I
gonna be a
think-
hard sell too.
that's a very hard sell, because we're also trying to make sure that kids go, and most of the time, you know, it's a single family with several children, you know. I know that this committee has also worked so hard in trying to enforce for the veterans that we did a minimal cost or is no cost for veterans for the rec center.
62 and over and veterans, if I'm not mistaken, are free.
Are free, yeah, so I know that we worked on that, at least while I've been on this committee a few years ago. But that's gonna be the easy way out for council, it's like, okay, well then you're gonna use our rec center and all these things, but at the end of the day, you still don't measure up to collect that money fast enough as how you're spending. And
Oh, without a doubt, we're not self-sustaining, and that's
Yeah.
never been the wish of the council to have us be self-sustaining. In other states, they are. They give you 3 years to be self-sustaining and to not be on the general fund. And it's rental, it's user fees, you know, rental of facility, it's a.
I just, again, I mean, we pay to get our trash cans picked up, we pay for having an alarm at the house. I mean, there's.
Cause I think if you were to
there's
tell the
things, you
public,
know.
you know what, we're gonna shut down all the parks. Because we can't maintain them, they're gonna be, well, what do we have to do to
But you
keep
know
them
what?
open, like?
hey, don't go that far, Elsie did it. You know, what did Elsie along the, you know.
No sports.
You know, cutting of the sports and all those
Oh,
things. I mean, you know, it's something that now obviously the city benefits because, you know, the MOU in place and all that. But that committee not only gonna be tasked with the developers, is like, hey, all right, we'll pay your fair share, and at the same time is, here you go, city, you also need to find a way, a creative way to, generate revenues for parks, so.
And I think
That's
that's,
a must.
and I think it's just educating the community that, hey, to maintain the park, this is what it costs.
Right.
And I think if they see the numbers, they're gonna say like,
Yeah, it makes sense.
it's either you pay to keep it nice or you lose out on it.
How many calls do you get saying that there's a park that needs some grass, to cut the grass? Like, there's I mean, I'm sure your phone blows up.
We
Right?
can pull the report.
No, I mean, and
There's a
and-
report.
And
Yeah.
why,
There's a
right? Because we don't have enough people to do it.
Right,
At the end of the day, that's it, right? I mean,
Does
right.
311 take those calls too?
Yes,
Yes?
we get reports, we get daily reports.
So for example, 311 collects data, they're calling me about a dog, obviously that doesn't go to parks, but like, let's say, oh, the sprinkler is going crazy at this park. That goes through 311, right, and then, that's
It gets filtered
obviously.
to the proper department.
Okay. Well, and thank you for that update, and, we'll do our work and our homework, to make sure that we go in there prepared and make a good recommendation.
Okay.
And we'll also keep, updating, as we're meeting, we'll continue to be updating the rest of the, committee members that are on the Parks Board, to see the progress of it.
Okay, did we set a date for the subcommittee meeting?
October second.
I'm okay with October 2nd,
Yeah.
and so, and Mr. Martinez, because he's unavailable.
Noon?
At noon is fine.
Okay, well, if we do it at noon on the 25th, how long do you think it'll take?
Hopefully,
2 hours?
we can put an hour, we can put a time limit.
Yeah, I'd say if we can do a 2-hour on the 25th, I can do it.
September
I'm good
twenty-fifth?
with
Wednesday,
whatever
the-
y'all want.
25th or the 2nd, I'm fine, so.
September twenty-fifth.
At noon?
Noon.
Oh, because you're board meeting.
At 4 o'clock.
Project, we all have.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll move it.
Yeah, 4 o'clock and then 5:30.
Number 4 is update on the North Central Park ADA Park Phase 2.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair, again. So what you see here on the screen, let me see if I can get the little monito in here. Okay. Maybe you can see it here. This is the ADA park that we built, about a year and a half ago, right here, this little cover right here. One of the most used playscapes that we have in the city, cost us about 1.1 million.
Very nice, it's a very nice park.
Very beautiful. We're really proud of how it worked out with parking lot and everything. So, the grand scheme of things was to do a big old ADA park with different amenities. We got a design, and I thought we'll show you right now the design of the overall master plan. It's supposed to be it's an all special needs. It's supposed to be the shape of a chameleon, right?
Salamander.
Salamander. Because a salamander stands for they can adapt anywhere. Okay, so the design is of a salamander. Here is the playscape park, which is, we call this phase 1. Phase 2 and 3 was to finish the rest of the salamander, which you'll see here in just a minute, with different types of amenities for all different types of all special needs kids, all needs kids. So we are currently, we put it in the budget for this coming year as a CIP project. I know it's a District 7, but like Dr. King said, this is not just a District 7 park. This is a park that everybody from all over the Laredo uses it. So we went ahead, they gave us about $1 million to build it, okay? We have a donor that's gonna give us about $300,000, all right? The same donor that gave us the money to build this, gave us money, was it $250,000 for this part, or 300? I mean,
It was 300, he's giving us 550.
okay, that's right. Now he's gonna give us $550 because he's gonna help, because they gave us 1 million. The actual cost is gonna be about 1.3 for phase 2. And we wanna extend the parking lot right here all the way up to the corner of Sweden, of this. So that's about another 250,000. So the donor said, I'll give you the 250 plus the difference to finish the ADA phase two, which is 300 here and 250 for the parking lot was 5. So we're getting a donation of 550,000 to finish this park.
That's the Martinez?
No.
No,
Uh,
Beto Gutierrez.
Beto Gutierrez, sorry,
Beto
Beto
Gutierrez.
Gutierrez, yes.
Beto Gutierrez. The former owner of Armadillo Homes, the original owner of Armadillo Homes. He wants to give back to the community that he, you know, that upped him, raises, you know, so he's a former owner of Armadillo. So this is what, so right now, we are, Anita and Liz have been meeting with the design, the architect, which is Slay Engineering, and she's gonna pass around to show you the overall picture of how it's gonna go. Okay. Or do you have it here? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we're working with Monica from Slay Engineering, and Tommy Ramirez and I met with her last week to see her proposal that she's in the design development phase. And so, as Coach said, this is a continuation. We were supposed to do phase 1, 2, 3, and the councilman said at the end of a ribbon cutting for the this one, the playground, I don't want to do it in phase 2 and 3. I want to finish it. And so, hence the reason we're the design development is incorporating the completion of this inclusionary park. These are the playground areas that we currently have and the parking lot that we currently have. This is the salamander, the body of, and this is the head. And I'll show you the elements that are planned to go into here. This is the trail that is existing on plans, and Monica had commented to try to elevate that, expand on this, if you will, incorporate that into the design. This is the head, different components. Looks like a upside down stairs person. These are the paws of the salamander, and you have different, I think there's musical instruments in these. The proposal for the body of the salamander is to actually have roofs at cantilever, if you will, tipped at an angle, and games inside on the outskirts of the sidewalk so that kids can actually play.
Ms. Stanley, wait, just a brief question. I know that the current playground that there is right now, it includes shade.
Mhm.
Would that include on the final?
That's what this is. All of this around the whole walkway.
okay.
Along the
is
walkway.
shaped,
Yeah.
and they're quite large. I'll show you in a little bit. Oh no, where'd it go?
I think you screwed it out.
Just,
Do the negative, positive hand. At the very bottom, see the negative, positive? No, the magnifying glass.
Yeah. There.
Oh, no, the other one.
Let's try and get to the next
okay,
slide.
yeah. This again is the part on the left. That's the entire salamander. Okay, these are the components, elements that they're thinking of using. These are the shades that we were talking about. It would be along the entire sidewalk. And so they literally cover 3/4, if not, a little bit more of the sidewalk itself. The games that they're proposing would be along the side so that kids can sit on the concrete, play tic-tac-toe or whatever games. And this is another one of the elements. They also want to include fanciful walkthroughs like this, steel rings. You can see them better over here. This would be the sign at the entrance that shows the name of the park. We've got benches, bench seating. There you go again. Oh, I'm reversing videos.
There you
I was
go.
like, what's happening? Thank you.
Does
I didn't notice.
is it named currently right now? The park is it named?
There's a plaque for dedication,
Correct.
but the park is at North Central Park 88.
Correct.
Right. It doesn't have a name right now. This is another element. So on part of the paw that you can see, these are turf. It's got 2 tunnels built into it. The tunnel system is, children who are autistic like to go and hide, if you will. And so they've incorporated a lot of elements that address all of that.
And how long is it gonna take to build it?
She hopes to get it done within 8 months. Were you in there with the conversation? No? Okay. So the biggest part of this is getting the concrete actually thrown, you know, cause the base is concrete and then everything else that goes on top. So this is another angle, but this is what it looks like under as you're walking down the trail. So these are the games that I was talking about, like, Foursquare, you know, games that you would play, on, like I said, up on this area right here. Okay. These are the play mounds that they're talking about. It's playground grass, if you will. It's turf. These are new. Put little slide elements in there. Those are the ones, the tunnels that I was talking about, the kids can go through. And then you'd have sandboxes, excavator, the kids would actually have that in the sand. And so one of the biggest concerns that we had is, you know, we are mirroring this idea from the one in San Antonio. Morgan's Wonderland. And so we've got similar elements. The concern is Morgan's Wonderland is enclosed. This is an open playground. And so.
But enclosed, is it because it's private, or you just request access for it?
It's a theme
amusement
park, if you will.
Oh.
It's an amusement park. And so, people go, they pay, they spend a day, and they have, you know, a train that goes around the entire complex. It's beautiful. But so it's enclosed, and so this is open to the public. So we're trying to offer similar amenities as that one, but it's open, it's wide open. So you have excavator and different, they have a water pump. This is really cute. She wants to do a handheld water pump that the old fashioned, that you just, so anyway, these are the design elements that we're talking about.
That's awesome, that's beautiful.
In that,
Have y'all seen the current one right now?
No.
It's very nice. It's a very nice park.
Always packed.
It's always packed.
Always.
Now, have y'all gotten any
Very
feedback from, I guess, the parents who are out there with their kids, like, would they want something similar, like what you put around the pool, so that way they're enclosed there, or just for safety? I know it's
to
just to
enclose
say, like I know that you said that park is enclosed because it's a private, but I'm thinking if you put something like a real nice fence or something, it keeps the kids not wandering off from the park for safety. But if the parents say, no, we don't need it, we're gonna be watching them.
we haven't received any comments about wanting a fenced
Or anything.
area, no. And
I
then
guess if once it's built, if we see the need for it, we
True.
can come back to it.
Come back, yeah, that's
And
true.
now this is the proposal for this budget cycle.
No, it's already passed.
Oh,
We're getting this money
I'm sorry.
October the 1st.
The
Well,
money's
November.
already there.
Correct. Okay, so then, you know, you would start that something can start being done by the end of the year, early next
Hopefully.
year.
So Slay Engineering would handle the securing of a contractor to ensure that, she would coordinate, orchestrate all the different, pieces that have to come together to actually do this. Once the design is approved, she could move forward.
Nice. And I know that and they have a wheelchair swing, right, on there and stuff, so it's a very nice park.
Now, on something like this, can any builder do it, or do you have to have a specialty in doing this? Because let's say, like, the builder, whoever they get, is somebody who specializes in these type of parks, or is it gonna be the guy next door who puts in a lower proposal?
No, was it Craftsman, right, the one that did the first one?
Well, those aren't gonna be the amenities, these are actually like, Funabout is the one that
Oh,
provided,
yeah,
like the
right.
turf and stuff like that, but a lot of stuff is just construction, like your roofs, your concrete,
They're they're specializing in that, we can't say they actually specialize in
special needs parks or
special needs
something.
park.
No, a lot of it, the amenities would be,
Right.
no.
The amenities would be special for special needs kids, but the actual park itself, it's just
Anyone
your general
anyone
contractor.
can do it.
Yeah, this is a grade, it's supposed to be like 2%, no more than 2% for wheelchairs.
Good.
So we're excited about it because now it's gonna make even bigger now. So it's gonna, that's already funded, which is the most important thing. That's not a wish thing, it's funded. We already got the ball rolling. Hopefully, like you said, hopefully end of this year, early next year. And hopefully by this time next year that we meet, we already have it up, right, by September. So
Yeah, that'd be great. And I think one of the recommendations when we do have the ribbon cutting or the groundbreaking, invite the schools who
Oh, yeah.
have the kids
Yeah.
for that so they can see it and it'll bring more awareness.
Yeah,
to-
and Gloria brought it, we're gonna have cameras, we're gonna make sure we have cameras going on because,
No, just alert the media.
yeah, Monday?
No, surveillance.
surveillance.
Oh, surveillance.
Surveillance
Okay,
cameras,
okay.
surveillance cameras, because it's out in the open and,
Yeah.
so we will definitely have some camera systems in there. We already have cameras in the other one, but this is now gonna be bigger, so we're gonna have to make sure we have that.
Safety's always number one.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Ms. Tennant. Number 4 is the upcoming 5K run at the airport.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, and, I have Ms. Nora May with us. She is our recreation superintendent. She has done a great job in preparing every year for our world famous, and I say world because we get people asking people from all over the world. With our 5K run at the airport, which is the 5K run that we do on the actual runways of the airport. And we invite everyone to that, and I'll let her speak on that one. And then coming in November, we're hosting for the second time the actual full marathon that is a qualifying marathon for the New York Marathon this year. Is that correct?
Yes, we have.
For
a
the New York
couple more
Marathon. So I'll pass the floor over to Ms. Nora May.
Well, this is one of it's our 4th year, and it's a unique race, and it's a very unique race. It's well attended. We already have about 100 people already registered, so, but at this time, we're still several weeks away from it, so it's good. Registration is open. Quality of life, and so we're trying to do something different, and it's not your regular 5K anywhere, so most of the people here have, on our end, have walked it or run it, so, we already have everything on registration. We have, Allegiant gave us, prize for a voucher for the first place male and first place female. So this is their 2nd year helping us out with the race. It's a unique race, like I said. People run on the track. And this is the map. So we actually are on the runway, on the main runway, on the second one. But there's other airplanes taking off on the other runways, and so people take selfies, they stop and have
Not
that
in
unique.
front of.
They will take off on the other runway. There's another runway here. So main runway is over here, so we're on the next one. But it's really cool. Can you go to the next one? So here you can see that people are actually all running over there on the runway. This picture was taken from the
Tower.
from the
Oh, for the fire.
fire
for the fire.
department.
The
fire-
ladder.
Yeah, the ladder. And this is a picture from the ladder. I took that one, I wasn't there. So, this is warm up. This was our last year's, female winner and our, male winner. So it's a very early race for the weather. We actually are unique from other airports because we don't have a time restriction because we have another runway that's active. So we're able to do this race, and we've got 3-4 hours to do it, so, that's why we also have a walk. If you can't run it, you can walk it. This is actually the walk, before coming out. So we always tell you, if you can't run it, you can walk it, and people like to walk it. So, I mean, it's a unique race. Very fun, I mean, we have music going on, we have, gifts for door prizes and things like that, so.
How many people have attended? What's the biggest number so far?
Last year?
Last year?
300 something, yeah. So, prizes they look like airplanes, and, we're very unique. The medal is also very unique. This is this year's shirt. In the process of finishing it up, and it's unique.
Yeah,
So, yeah, so every year we try to make it a unique shirt.
We will give you all one, even if you don't rock it. Well, make sure we get the sizes to Gloria. So we can, no, we are.
They can walk, they can walk.
Well,
No,
if
we
you're gonna
always
come
give
and
you-
walk, but if
we
you
always-
can't make it, we will definitely
yeah,
give
we
you
will
all one,
always,
so you can keep one
definitely
for
give
your,
you one.
keep
Yeah.
one for your.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Send me your size.
Send Gloria your size.
Yes, so, I mean,
We
it's
do
unique.
have a double XL slim, because anybody.
No, and I do make 2X, and
Kids
2Xs for
Yeah.
whoever needs them, and extra smalls too, so. Unique race, it has a lot of, permits that we have to go through, and the airport takes care of that, so it's a combination of us and the airport. So,
What date was that again?
it's October
October
5th.
October 5th.
5th. Okay, and we have a packet pickup the day before. You can go pick up your number, your shirt, and everything. Our press conference is coming up pretty soon. We'll have a press conference invitation to everybody. But it's a very fun race. We have a lot of fun in this race. Coaches ran it, walked it, Anita también. So, yeah,
Crawled it.
crawled it.
I was
already
last, I
Saturday
was last
morning.
place last year, so.
You were there too.
I was there, I was
Yes,
there.
yes.
Our last place?
I was last place, beautiful.
That needs a prize too.
You get a medal when you finish.
I got
so-
the tail of the plane and somebody got the front.
That's the honesty award. I like
There you go.
It's a very unique race. Not a lot of cities do it, and we do get runners from out of town, and they come and look for these type of races. So the winner does a very fast time. Last year, his time is, can't remember the time, but it's the fastest one was last year. So, yeah.
So this is a 5K run. The next one is the full marathon in November. Want to go to the next one?
Yeah.
There you go.
So, this would be our second year after blood, sweat, and tears. We finally were able to pull it off last year, very well attended and very well organized. I mean, they were here. It's a USTA TAF certification, so they do come, and we have to have certain regulations and a lot of things that they ask for. This year, the difference, can you go to the second one? We have added the half marathon, and it's also certified. So now we have certification for Boston. It's qualified. Last year we had 4 runners qualify for Boston Marathon, but it's also certified for half and full. Half meaning that you're certified that you can go to the tryouts for the Olympic team. So now that it's certified, we will have runners that will be able to come and be invited to participate. So that's gonna bring a lot more runners to the race. We look forward to bringing people from out of town, and our winners from last year were from out of town, were from Austin. Go to the next one. These are pictures from the first race, and our winners from the first race. And some encouraging words from throughout.
Did you run?
It's a very long race, it's 26
I
miles.
don't agree what it says here. Do you want us to call an Uber?
Yeah. There was a lot of cool stuff.
And obviously,
around.
they just go and they do water stations, or they have to register?
No, we have water stations, we have, I mean, it has.
There are a lot of volunteers that help us out.
Yes, and we're gonna ask for volunteers
For
to do the
water.
next one. Yeah. So, obviously, this one needs a lot more sponsorship, and we are getting some sponsors, some big sponsors. We got a prize money, I mean, the money is prize, that's how we bring runners in. And, this year, we're trying to prize from first to third. Last year, we just, gave money to first place, and then our last meeting, we decided to do for second and third.
What was the total participation on that race? I know that it's a large race, so.
So we had close to 100 runners last year, because it was our first race, and kind of time consumed. I mean, we were right there when we got the certification, so promoting it, we promoted it this year. We already have 2 runners from Kenya committed to the race, which means it's gonna attract more runners to the race. And this is thanks to Victor, the mayor's son that runs marathons, because he's a big partner in this adventure. and, he's gotten runners from.
But 100 participants for that kind of race in.
Yeah,
here
we're not gonna get
is
1,000
yeah,
until.
That's impressive.
Yes,
I just
until
think
5
word of mouth,
years,
yeah, word of
until
mouth,
it, yes.
as we're having.
And so, because it was, you know, the organization, we didn't have any mishaps, I mean, the route was there, clear, which is the most important part. But word of mouth is that, we're gonna have a lot more runners this year for that.
Go back to the map.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is that
So
the
it
map,
starts in
right?
Unitrade, and we do it one way, because we wanna showcase the city, right? But we always, the biggest problem we have is we wanna finish it downtown, but we have the train tracks, so we can't go in and out of downtown. So the only way we can do that is starting at Unitrade.
Coach did it also when he was in the truck.
I moved the car.
Yeah,
He was in the Fox
I
car.
actually came in first. I was in front of the runner.
I saw you taking the check away from the winner.
I actually came in first, and Tommy came in third. It was-
right?
I was in front, the runner, and Tommy behind me.
And it's the last year's winner, 2 hours and something. For me, it takes me more than 2 hours to run the route on the car because we gotta look at everything, you know?
Yeah.
And they ran it in 2 something, it was like ridiculous.
Just to have an idea, Unitrade, you come out, you go on the loop, you go around TAMU,
Inside,
you come back towards Del Mar, you go towards Alexander Freshman Campus,
Mountain
inside the Cove, you go into, over here is Robert Santos
The high school, yeah.
Elementary.
Elementary.
Then
And
you
it
come
turns
back.
around.
Then you come back down on the loop. You head towards Del Mar, past Alexander, inside the country club, around the golf course. Come back around all the way into country club drive. Then you hit McPherson. You hit the Whataburger on Shiloh, and then you go all the way on Shiloh till you hit 35, and then you stay on the access road. And then you go into Santa Maria. Go into acá, La Ladriera, over the overpass. Over the overpass.
No.
La Ladriera, El Cuatro, inside the LCC. You go around Francisco Javier, underneath the underpass again, and you finish up, coming to the city hall, and you finish up in the outlets. Also, that's a good idea.
So we try to hit the.
carro.
Yeah, right?
What's that?
He's already tired.
canso en carro.
Did you all shut down some of these streets?
We don't, what we do is a rolling shutdown. The police, once we're finishing an area, they keep rolling and keep going. And so they kind of try to shut down one lane, but this is a big area, so we can do that at the beginning, and then when they split up, when they out here, so they keep 2 groups. This year, we're gonna have more runners, but we're
And
gonna.
honestly, these are experienced runners, right? Like, it's not
Oh, yeah.
somebody that you have some amateur joining.
We have a cutoff, I mean,
I'm sorry.
last year,
I gotta share an experience with you in just a minute. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So you plan for everything, right? You plan sure they meet as they get closer. Every day we got everything covered. Yeah. So I'm in front of the runner, and Tommy's behind the runner. So we get to over there by Laredo College, El Cuatro. With the runner, and he's hauling all of a sudden, salen 4 perros.
yeah, we have a big problem with dogs, man.
So yo le echo el carro a los perros, and Tommy le echa el carro a los perros. We're trying to shield the runner from the perros. And, we're calling
You look to
doctors.
the next guy behind you.
They were in front of the runners. Yeah, they were in front
Oh
of the
my
runners.
gosh, that guy ran faster than he thought.
Yeah.
He beat his own record.
Yeah.
So he finishes at the end. You know, we're asking for your feedback. So what do you think, sir?
Dogs.
Somebody should take care of the dogs.
And they had gone the day before to pick up all the stray dogs, but people opened the gates. and
Yeah,
the dogs were outside.
4
You know
of
what?
them.
Have the
Y 4
shelter.
pit bulls.
Have the shelter. Be part of the entourage. Have the shelter be out there part of the entourage.
There you go.
Yeah, no,
Or just have the guys that pick up
yeah,
the
that's the only.
branches.
Ahorita
That's
ya no hay
great. They eat
perros,
up
no,
dogs.
no, no.
They eat up dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they eat up dogs.
Everybody's eating dogs right now, so don't worry about it.
Hey, take it easy. Please
Yeah,
stop.
so we get runners, we get runners from Mexico, it's promoted in Mexico also, and, we get runners from here, from out of state, out of town,
The winners were from
from Austin area.
Austin.
Yeah.
outside of Austin somewhere.
Is that a new route?
Yes, and
Down the road,
the
Down
problem
the road,
is the trains, so we gotta go,
See,
you know, like Lafayette and then.
So they come
Let's
about a month before, 2 months, no, 3 months before, and they certify it, like, okay,
Yeah.
or they'll
No,
tell you,
it-
this
yeah.
you need here, you need there. Of
It's
course,
certi-
the pedals weren't out there when they saw that, right, but they certify
They weren't
that.
there because you went real early in the morning. Like at 5 or 6 a.m.
Están dormidos.
Yeah, and the person that certified it, they're on 2 bicycles with the measures on the bicycle.
This year you give hot
The
dog
process.
meters to all the runners. You're gonna need this. What's this for?
You should see the runner, you should see the runner's face, the guy in first place. Oh, you're telling them carro encima.
So we were coming up with some ideas on how we can control those dogs in that area, but we're still on the works. But other than that.
Hey, when y'all can volunteer the parks employees in those suits where the dogs attack.
hey, don't give them idea, they're gonna put us to do that.
And I think most certainly is having maybe more volunteers designated.
We
in that area.
definitely this year need a lot more volunteers, cause there's some areas that we need to reinforce. And so we're, already talked to TAMIU to see if we can get their big group of volunteers to help us out. We gotta add more water stations. Last year we had 8.
Maybe the
10.
track teams from
Cross-country
from
teams also helps us
The,
as
the
well.
cross-country teams, yes.
from the schools.
From the
Yeah,
schools they
I
can
would
help us out.
recommend maybe, I know that with Border Olympics, they have the cross-country, like invite them, like, hey, y'all, we need volunteers.
Yeah,
that way
and
we
we
can
can
do
give
a
service
big
hours.
marathon, like,
Yeah.
We'll give community service hours
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will give them community service hours. Just a-
So,
So
yeah,
these
we-
guys may wanna run
Yeah,
it
we
next year.
might want to start reaching out to them already, so they can
Yes.
start making plans.
Yeah. So we can do that.
Well, thank you, Ms. May, for the update, and thank you for being here and informing us. Thank you all, Parks, for
Thank
the
you.
staff reports. We greatly appreciate it. We'll be on the lookout, lots of activities in the next few weeks, and much to look forward to as well. We have bullet point number 7. Number 8, items for next meeting. I think one of them was the information on the parkland dedication. From every meeting now moving forward, we can request that we have an update from the subcommittee members back to the board and also, you know, from staff, just to have that update for the.
Pickleball at Divine Mercy also for the next meeting, that's Mr. Lopez.
For the what, I'm sorry?
Correct, the pickleball.
Oh, yeah,
um,
yes, yes.
Coach was gonna inform us, staff.
We'll show you design and the cost of where we're gonna look on the pickleball courts.
And then also the follow-up in regard to the agenda item that we have today on the North Central Park Golf Course. The proposed improvements, a possible list of costs and a plan moving forward.
I would like to add there also, just to keep you all informed, I think it's important. Being that our budget starts October the 1st, to show you all our budget.
Okay.
To show you where our budget goes, how much what department, how much we budget in department, so you can have an idea. Oh wow, look, they only got this much money for groundskeepers, they got this much money for, so I like for you all to see, where our money goes.
That'd be a great idea, especially like for the ones that just came in,
Yeah.
like me.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the budget is like,
Yeah,
so.
so
it'd be-
October
it'd be great to
1st,
see.
Christmas is back for us, but we will show you how our budget, and then we split it up into a parks budget and a recreation budget.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll show you the piece of the pie is how it works, alright, so you can have an idea. I think that'll be good how, since being our new fiscal year is gonna start.
So do you think, Coach, we should schedule, if we're gonna have the meeting,
28?
on the 20, like we do it the following week?
Sure.
So that way, cause I think it's the
Bring you back the information.
Wednesday before the 5K walk at the
Right.
airport. Would that give you all enough time to?
Yeah, it should be okay. Yes, sir.
Committee members, any agenda items that you would like to see or any?
Or if you hear of anyone, you think of something when you go home, or you hear somebody, just call Ms. Landine. We have to post it the Friday before, 72 hours before our meeting. So that's our timeline. If you would like to find out something, feel free to reach out to her and she will So you can get my me and we'll put it on, all right? But, so if you can't think of anything right now, feel free to reach it out, okay? Sure.
Thank you, Coach and staff. And, with that said,
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
there's a motion, second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
None, motion carries, we're adjourned.